She is a rock star in the field of neuroscience, relational neuroscience. Okay, so everybody, if you can, make a note. I want you to look that up. What is relational neuroscience? That's Leanna's specialty, and she's really good about helping us understand what's going on in our mind and how sometimes, Leanna, our mind may not be giving us accurate information. And when you explain what's going on, because sometimes we feel really down about ourselves and we think that that something's wrong with us, but it's probably not something wrong. It's just something missing, just information we don't have. So can you speak into that just real briefly?
Yeah, well, that's beautiful. And briefly, you know, when we're looking at something and 80% of information that we process does not come actually from our thoughts. The inception, the beginnings of that actually happens in our nervous system and our body. And so often, if we are stuck on something and we think something's wrong, I think what our nervous system is trying to do is it's trying to open up a conversation with us. It's trying to, I'm sorry about the wind. And so with that, I always say, we want to explore those feelings and those emotions because they're a vast world of information. It's just that we need to learn how to access those emotions in a healthy way, and then be open to what the bigger picture and the bigger story is trying to say. And so through relational neuroscience and through the narrative work that I do, you're able to see the collide that whatever moment we're struggling with, that it has a lot of wisdom inherent in that struggle. So that's a nutshell.
Oh, that's so good. So good. All right. Behind her is Micheal Richardson, and he is a world-renowned horsemanship clinician. He had a show on RFD TV called Gift of the Horse. I am learning so much from both of my friends, Leanna and Micheal, this past year that we got connected, and it's fascinating, guys. So Micheal, let's start with horsemanship. I see that Dover is kind of pushy. And so let's give these girls
today he is excited to see Leanna, and then he saw you, and he's checking everything out. Here we go. So there we go. Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I'd like to go back real quick if I could and echo some of the same sentiments that Leanna did in regard to the young lady that said turn can't into can, and that is so profound and so true, because me, you know, I've been in a wheelchair for 37 years, and it is definitely there are moments that there's some can'ts in there, and you need to be able to take those can'ts and turn them into can. And how we do that is our Lord and Son, through a lot of prayer and faith and friends. Sure, can't overlook the horses, because God put something in these beautiful animals that puts up with all of us, and so they're really the ultimate teacher in so many ways. So I encourage all of you to reach for the stars and keep dreaming and make a difference every day.
So Micheal, help us.
Gotcha.
Sometimes when we're new to horses and they're kind of pushing us around, it's hard to know, when do we step up and say no? Like, how do you get that courage to speak up for yourself with a horse? Because I think that can help us communicate with people too.
Oh, you know, I think, you know, horses are very curious creatures. And if you give them just a little room, wiggle room, if you will, they'll take advantage of it. And then, fortunately, that they start to go to that spot, and then they start pushing on you. And it really is just disrespect. And they need to understand that it's not something that we will allow. And I think if you do allow that unfortunately will transfer, where you give everybody the benefit of the doubt, and you say, well, they're all good people, even though they this to me or done that to me or pushing on me. And I think it's very important that we understand what we want to accomplish in a relation, and then how do we develop it based on respect. And so I think, like with Dover, if he can take a step, he'll take 2 steps. And so it's important that you just kind of set him back up and get him to stand back. And he does a great job. And he's a phenomenal horse with a phenomenal history with, what Kendra's been able to do with him. And it's just a beautiful story. But yet that is something that we all encounter on a daily basis with these animals. And we need to look at it and say, need to respect each other, and we need to develop it in such a way that we can continue to work together, accomplishing our goals.
That's right. And girls, I want you to comment, drop it in the chat right now if this is something that you struggle with. Is it hard for you to stand up for yourself, either around horses or around people, when they are being disrespectful to you? How does that make you feel? And would you like help learning how and when to say no? Would that help you? Michael, when did you get the courage to assert yourself with horses?
And I know
how did that happen? What helped you get confident with horses, knowing that I think we're afraid they're not going to like us?
Well, yeah, oh, absolutely. But the reality of it is, if you can establish very clear parameters, horses are happier when they start on us and look into where is the leader looking, and they're as comfortable as we think, but they're comfort. So if you can establish these clear parameters, it's going to be a much more harmonious relationship and a safer one. And it's based on respect, but they're looking for these leaders, and we need to be a leader not only with our horses but in our own lives. And believe me, I understand being a pushover because times that I've been totally taken advantage of because of that. And so I've had to learn that no, that's not acceptable. And once I started thinking different, my horses did different, and my relationships with people were different. And it's based on respect. And if you don't have respect with the animal, you're going to probably start questioning the respect that you have for yourself.
Oh, that's
and
so
I think
good.
that's very important.
So good. I loved what you said, Michael, that once you establish respect, and it's not about being mean. So don't fear that horse is not going to like you anymore, or that person is not going to like you anymore. When you have the courage to just speak up, you don't have to be mean, but you don't have to be a pushover. Just establish those boundaries of respect. The horse is happier, and more times than not, the person you're dealing with, you can have a better relationship with that person and grow, instead of being stuck as a feeling like you're the doormat that they're wiping their muddy boots on.
Absolutely. Exactly right. 100% agree with that. And the horses will be happier.
And
right, Dover?
You've lived around enough of them to know. So how many horses would you say have come through your hands in your lifetime?
Oh, it's in the thousands. I gee whiz. We were talking about behavioral science and really figuring out how you can work with these horses, particularly on the round pen at Liberty. And he challenged me. He said, work 250 horses and ask yourself after that if this is something that is possible and obtainable. Well, I worked 250 horses and I called them up, and it was just like I talked to him, but from the first horse to the 250th horse. And he said, so what do you think? I said, I think I can do it. So if you just look at that, there's probably been hundreds and hundreds of those 250 horses that we've worked in our life, and learned from every single one of them how to be a better communicator, better in the respect of what can they teach me about not only our relationship with each other, but and for sure our relationship with God.
So good. So how many of you want Michael to be your coach? Me too. Leanna and Michael are coaching me too. And it's so much fun to keep learning. So good. Well, I'm so glad you guys could join us.